Hi guys, Bobby here. Here I have with me the new Countryman S. Now, I have briefly reviewed the Countryman. It was back when they launched it, and I personally think that video is horrible because there's so little time to do any form of proper recording. So here I have the car with me now. So let me bring you around the car. Yes, if you hear some sound, that's my son. Ethan, excuse me. That side. Thank you. Okay. This is the second generation Mini Countryman. When they debuted the current generation Mini Cooper, I was a little bit doubtful with it when I saw it. And it takes some time for me to learn to like it. I also am a owner of the first generation Clubman Cooper S. And then when I saw the new Clubman, I was blown away. That was beautiful, beautiful. And this time around, the Countryman as well. I really like how they did the headlamps to be slightly squarish instead of just pure round. So this car stands to be super unique amongst the newest generation of Mini Cooper family model range. Mini Cooper S grille, you know the S grille in the previous R56 generation, right? They form an angry mouth kind of look. It looks angry, but now this one they extended this part, right, with some extensions. It looks more refined, I would say. Instead of just being angry, it looks firmer. Okay, the fog lamps are down here, and of course all minis, right, you can accessorize them like mad. You can buy the do they call them the floodlights or something like that? You can buy the floodlights and all that. Basically, they look good. And then the Countryman never had the hood scoop. Even the previous generation, right, they never had the hood scoop as well. But they have a power bulge, which is pretty unique. The stickers are there. I feel so sorry that the car is so dirty, but it rained a little bit this morning. You know the kind of rain where it makes your car wet, but then they don't wash it away with further rain. They just drop a little bit of rain and that's it. And here are the oil coolers. Okay, because this car is now 2-liter turbocharged. There's some this directs air to the wheel well to reduce turbulence and then to reduce drag and all that. This part here, I mean the old one has a sort of like a horizontal slab. Okay, this one is pretty cool looking as well. It makes the car looks good at the sides. So when you see an S, this is the higher performance variant. Now, come to the side. That's the Countryman's side profile. I think it looks really good. The distinct designs are still there. Okay, the dark wraparound, because all the pillars are in gloss black. Look at the pillars; they're all in gloss black, so they look really good. Okay, and the rear looks exactly like the Mini Coopers. I mean, I'm sure they are different, but it looks very similar to the current Mini Cooper. You don't have that super huge Mini wing logo anymore at the back here, which I think sort of makes the old one looks pretty cool. But this is good looking nonetheless. Okay, then there's that really proud Countryman word emblazoned across the rear. Okay. Dual tailpipes, some diffusers. I like the mixture of materials. Look at the body color, the gloss black bumpers, the what do you call that? The scuff plates or whatever, you know. So this is an SUV, or is it a crossover? So of course it has the right height to match, right? It is fun to begin with, and I like the exterior design a lot. It looks good. All minis look good, and then there's nothing like them out there. There is literally nothing quite like it out there because minis are just very, very unique. Now, these roof rails, they're not just for show, because at the launch, right, if you watch that video, they have a mini tent housing where you can expand the whole thing, right? It can hold more than the weight of two of my combined weight. Basically, on top of that rack that expands into a tent, two of Bobby Ang can sleep inside. So in total, right, it can hold more than 200 over kilos. This is how impressive this is. Okay, I remember there's a car, the Nissan Grand Livina, when they launched it, no, Grand Livina, Nissan Livina X Gear. They told us the roof rails can only hold 20 kilos. Yeah, man. And these are some bike racks. It doesn't come with a car. Okay, we got it for our outing. So, yeah, those are from Thule or Thule, I don't know. Okay, let's go inside. Let's go inside the car. It has keyless. Okay, keyless. Lock it. And, sorry. Haha. Okay, unlock it. Now, let's come inside. Now, look at this. The start-stop, it's not a button, it's a start-stop toggle. It will keep pulsating until you press the brake pedals, and then it will light up bright, and then you start the car. Okay, pretty cool. Alright, the interior has been completely redesigned. This round, right, the Clubman, the Mini, the Countryman, they all have a unique interior. They all have a unique interior. Okay. Now, the Speedo is no longer here, likewise the previous generation, where they have the Speedo counter over here, and then inside is the infotainment system. Now they changed it. The Speedo is over here, the rev counters are over here, and then this thing. Yeah, man. It goes up and down with the steering wheel as well. So the only other car with this, I think, is a Nissan GTR or other minis. Okay, lovely steering wheel, lovely steering wheel. One of the nicest steering wheels to grip. Okay, not too fat, not too thick, not too thin, just about nice. And the diameter of the steering wheel is lovely. It suits this car. It suits the size of this cabin, just about right. Okay. And then you have the paddle shifters. They are very unique. They are not cross-shared with any BMWs, which is, I mean, a kudos to Mini, because unlike Audi Group, you know, they share everything. Everything is the same. Everything comes from everyone. Yeah, rounded chrome designs, very classic, very good looking. And then this is a Cooper, like John Cooper work line. So basically, this is not the exact steering wheel from the Countryman, but then the sports version or something like that, and then it's identical to the JCW steering wheel. Okay. Now, sides here, these are the headlamp controls. That's the door panel, which looks pretty good. You have some ambient lighting inside here. Okay. And then this is pretty unique. The door handle actually houses the lock and unlock button. So this thing needs to last because cables are running through it. Alright, wirings and all that. Leather clad here, pretty alright. Decent plastics. Way higher quality than the previous Mini Coopers. Okay, way higher. I am an owner, I know that. And this is way higher quality. Okay, the switch gears are nice. They're chrome, you know. And then this gloss black trim here. One thing, look at this, the boot release, right? It doesn't just release. You hold it up, it opens the boot. Okay, as you can see, it opens up the boot, and to close it, can you see it? Yup. So I like that. I like these aircon vents as well. The shape of them, very classic. Okay, this whole dash here is soft touch. This looks like a speaker, but actually it's an aircon vent. It vents air out. Okay, now this thing. If I switch the mode, okay, this is pretty cool. So there's a lot of cool little stuffs going on here. This is where you switch the drive modes. Yeah, unique design, right? So if you go into sport, this thing will light up red color. And then if you go back to, and then it's green for eco. Then one step up, it will be yellow or, yeah, yellow color. And then this will come back. And then this thing, right? I don't really know how it corresponds, but when I rev the car, this thing will go up. Look at it, huh? As I rev it now, you see that? This light sort of corresponds with my revs, which is pretty cool. Okay. Another thing, look at this one. They have a dedicated button just to change the ambient color of the car, which I really like. Okay, so you can change. Oh, now it's not very visible now because of a because it's bright out there, right? But yeah, I don't think you can see it now. Basically, this whole trim, you can see this gloss black trim. This gloss black trim, the lines within the gloss black trim are actually LED lights that glows the ambient color you wanted it to have. So there's a multitude of choice just by toggling this toggle, which is exactly the same as the previous generation. The previous generation already has it. You can toggle like the range of rainbow colors from purple to blue to red to orange, yellow, and the green. No green. I don't remember there's a green color. Okay. Now this thing here, this is pretty unique. Most cars, right, you have the gauges to display the stuffs, right? Now this car, right, you have a dedicated plastic part which forms part of the speedo cluster, and dedicated slots to show the fuel gauge. Yes, this whole thing, this whole chunk is the fuel gauge. So there's a pretty cool mechanical approach to its design, where it's not just a gauge housed anywhere or some light bars which they could have used to display it, or they can use some LCD bars to display this. No, they actually made a separate part with separate lighting mechanism to just do one thing, fuel gauge. So I kind of like that, you know. Now come to here. This looks like the ones in the Audi TT, right? This is the dial, but inside houses the LCDs to show the temperature settings. Oh, look at it. Look at this thing. Ooh, pretty cool. I like that. I like that. I like that. Now, what if you are coming up, I'm going down? Will it confuse it so that it doesn't move? Ooh, it's a light show here. You see that? Yeah. Okay, sorry for that. Yeah. And then this one, oh, it changes as well. Now I know what this does. This is like the car talking to you. This is Kit. Oh, sorry, Kit Yam. No Knight Rider, Kit. So any interactions that you have with the car, this thing sort of responds to you. Now I quite like that. I quite like this thing. All right. Now come to the seats. The seats look pretty normal, but they have some classic perforated patterns over here and here, and they are very comfortable. Now in the new generation Minis, right, only the Clubman and the Countryman has power seats. I mean the high spec variant, right? You can even extend this out. Okay, the seats are very comfortable. They don't look big. They don't look like they have a lot of patterns going on. But these are classic designs, and then they're very comfortable. The headrests as well, even though they're small, but they are comfortable. Some parts here look like Alcantara, but actually they're not Alcantara. I don't know what material is that. It looks like Alcantara. Okay. Now, in the old generation Mini, right? If you are an owner, you will know it is such a pain. It is such a pain to remove your USB or plug in a USB because it's hidden inside there, and there's a stupid cover where you have like which is spring loaded. You have to sort of hold it open and then to plug the USB. Whoever designed that thing, right? I hope something happened to him. Okay, anyway, this is the USB ports, the auxiliary, and then the 12-volt chargers. They're all over here. Okay, cup holders are here. There's a very nice compartment here which is rubberized, but it doesn't look like the usual rubberized trim. This rubberized trim is sort of have a Burberry pattern over there. The checkered pattern is over there. Okay, electric parking brakes. Remember the old Countryman has the airplane-like parking brake? Now it has electric. And then remember that old Mini Cooper, you have that little phallic look-alike, small little baby phallic look-alike toggle. Now it's an iDrive toggle, but I kind of hope that it can look a little bit more funky. Even the aircon dials look funkier than this. So anyway, it's not bad. It's alright. You get to jump to different menus straight up. Okay. Now this one is not the one in the JCW where that's a touchscreen. This is not a touchscreen yet, but the graphics are beautiful. Okay, the graphics are fantastic. They look great. They work fantastic because this is essentially the iDrive of BMW. Okay, and it works perfect with Spotify. If you have Spotify with your phone, right, and then you tie up with your in-car system, what you can do, right? Say for example, I'm driving now and I'm wondering what my friend in US is listening, which I follow him on Spotify. I can play his track over here. So you have millions of track accessible just because you have Spotify, and then you have a fantastic integration with your car. Okay, let's go to the rear seats now. Now, even though this is the Cooper S, it doesn't have the metal plates, the pedals, which my old car has. My old Cooper has sort of have that. All right. Here I am at the back seat, and it's pretty comfortable because you don't have a panoramic roof over here. It wasn't spec'd in, maybe to keep prices in check. I have about 2 inches of headroom. All right. As for the knee room, I have very ample knee room, and my legs are able to slot underneath the front seats as well. Okay, here is very comfortable behind here because these are soft touch. Everything feels good. The seat angle is just about right. The headrest doesn't jut out and all that. So it's pretty good. Okay, and the windows, even though they don't look as tall and opening, but because the seat height is alright, a lot of it is within my vantage point if I'm seated at the rear, so it feels airy. Okay, of course I hope it has a panoramic roof. You know, when you have panoramic roof, then the whole cabin will feel more light will come in and all that. All right, so yeah, the door bins are absolutely huge. Look at the door bins, they are huge. You can put big bottles over here, they can put a lot of stuff, and then they segregate it. You can put your stuffs all over there. All right, all these are very good. And this is long enough. I don't think it's long enough for an iPhone 6 Plus, but an iPhone 6 might be able to. I'm not sure. Okay, gloss black trim here, leather trim here. Of course, I hope they come in dual colors so that it looks more exciting. Okay, but probably you are able to spec it. I'm not sure. All right, ask your own dealer if you're interested in it. All right, ISOFIX mounts are very easy to reach. See, just flip them up so you don't lose them. So it's very easy to reach them. There is a armrest. So because Mini is now sophisticated and premium, so you have an armrest at the back here. And then what's best, this is 40-20-40 split. So when you carry some long items, but you have 2 passengers at the back there, you can slot it over here. Okay, all the way to the front. Right, and so this makes the car practical as well. Now the boot is pretty okay. There are some elastic straps over here, some hooks over there, some nets over here, so it's very usable. It's not the largest or deepest boot that I've seen for cars like these, but it's totally usable. You can put your big luggage, and all that. So yeah, it's pretty okay. There is this one. Look at that. Look at that. What is this? This is a cushion. It's magnetized, it's attached there, and then you can pull it out, put it here, and then you sit here, and then you gaze at the stars. So yeah, pretty cool feature, and I really like this thing. This thing is very unique. It makes the car special. Okay, if you are about the age of 40, you have a teenager son, make sure you get the Cooper S model of the Countryman so that he can use this and go out with his girlfriend or something. Alright, anyway. Alright, to fold it back in is very easy. Let me show you again. Just do this, and then done. It's back. Now if you open up this part, you will see the boot is very big. Oh, there are hinges now. My old Clubman doesn't have hinges. These are actually hinges over there. So let me turn you around so that it's easier. Okay, now the boot is big. What's wrong with you? Turn back. Okay, now it's huge. See, wow, very premium. Proper hinges to hold this up. They never had that in the old one. The old one, you just fold it and flip it over there, Okay, now with this added, this much space added, the boot is now really big. Okay, and if you can, I mean, remember that you can fold the seats down as well, so that makes it a very, very practical car. Why would people buy a Mini, you ask? Because they are special. Yeah, and they are practical, and they look cool. All Minis does. No one hates a Mini driver. Minis are fantastic. Okay, it makes you smile. It makes you smile. That's a Mini Cooper, and this is the Countryman. All right, let's go in for a drive. You have a very good vantage point on the road. I love driving it because it's so easy to drive now. Back then, right, it's like a conscious decision to own a Mini because you know you don't get power seats, you know the car will be slightly hopping and bopping around, you know that for a fact back then. But you want the go-kart feel, you like how it looks, you love the interior, you love the story, and that's how people got into the Mini brand back then. But now they've grown up, all of their cars have grown up, they are entering the third generation now, and they are just so easy to drive. Everything just feels nice, everything is so easy, within reach, the car is comfortable, the performance of the car is adequate. There's not even a time where I felt that I need more power, except that day when I was in Sepang in a Countryman JCW trying to chase a 3-door JCW, which is impossible because that car is so small compared to this. So everything is just nice. It's a 5-seater, there's a decent sized boot, and then that little cushion at the back there, I really like that. And then this is full iDrive but skin over with a Mini interface, so it's fantastic now. But back then when we had the Clubman, right, technically it's iDrive, but it's sort of like a watered down version, so it's a bit more convoluted and not as easy to use as the BMW iDrive. But this is par on par, exactly like iDrive. Of course, this is still not as good as the one in the JCW, which is touchscreen. That is fantastic, but this is awesome in its own right. Okay, I'm not going to go through this because the walk around will go through that. But in terms of the driving, the performance, does it handle well? Yes, oh yes, it's still a Mini. It is still a Mini Countryman, and it still corners well. It still brakes really well. Somehow the smell just come in. And here the recirculatory, right, that's A and M, I don't know what is what, so yeah, I just leave it there. So anyway, sometimes I smell from the smell from outside, but that's about it. Everything else about this car, right, we love everything about it. I love everything about it. Yeah, man, one thing we miss, you know, that back then the previous car, when you got up the car, right, before you slot in your key, right, they have that sound, tung 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 tung, that very distinctive Mini sound. Their alert sounds, right, are not like most cars, like super high pitched beep 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 beep. No, they're not like that. Theirs is like a very nice, very friendly, very warm reminder kind of tung 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 tung. You know, they sound different. Basically, they sound different. Even the tones they use in the car is different. And another thing I really appreciate what BMW did for the Mini is that there are no parts bin components in the car. I can't find a single BMW switchgear or a BMW paddle shifter. You know, it's very easy to hide a set of paddle shifters from BMWs into a Mini because it's behind the steering wheel, right? So it's very easy for them to, if they want to do that, if they want to save 2 cents per paddle shifter, like what Volkswagen does, right? That I really appreciate because the whole cabin feels bespoke. It feels bespoke for Mini. It feels unapologetically plastic at certain places, but they make use of it to make it beautiful. Like this part here, the whole inlay here, right, is gloss black plastic, but the lines that runs across, they actually light up at night. And then when I change the ambient color of the car, the ambient lighting color of, they correspond as well. And there's a lot of cute little stuffs that goes around the car that makes you feel good. Like walking to your car in the car park, and then as you unlock the car, right, the Mini logo was projected onto the floor. which is pretty cool. If you drive a Mini, will be pretty. I mean, that's brand bias, but still, your brand has to be cool for you to play around with, right? These little quirks, this light here, when we adjust the temperature, it will move accordingly, and then as you rev the throttle, this white color thing will go up. All of these small little things makes the car feel special, okay? When I adjust sport mode or between green or what, I don't feel the suspension geometry changes, so I do not think that this car comes with adaptive suspension. Even though the throttle response, the steering response, the brakes, they all feel tighter in sports mode, but I don't feel the suspension doing it. So I believe that's a case of not speccing it. I can't remember correctly because I didn't go through the spec sheet, alright? I love the car, man. The build quality is so good now. Back then, the build quality is like... Back then, it's still a nice cabin, but things fall apart. We have plastic bits that we found on the floor randomly, and then of course we keep it, right? And now this car feels just as solid as any BMW is, okay? Everything feels good, everything is great. In fact, some of the material, some of the touch point, right, I find it better and more high quality than the 3 Series. Of course it has to be, right, because Minis are not affordable. They are not affordable. Yes, they are special in that way. I mean, there's a reason why people buy Gucci handbags, right? Even though they are smaller, right? You don't buy a handbag by size. You buy it by the brand, by the design, by how you imagine you will look when you use it, and where do you go to when you use it. Yeah, that's pretty much how a Mini Cooper is, alright? If you want a very practical, if everybody is going for practicality and big and all that, right? Everybody will be driving a Toyota Innova by now. There's a reason why people are not doing that, because you don't look that good when you're driving that thing, right? So there are people who buys a Elantra or a Civic or a Ford Focus or anything. When it comes to car buying, there is a little sense of lifestyle, how I look on it. That's a very important aspect in car buying. We cannot just judge car buying on the amount of room you get from the price you pay. That's not an excuse to say this car is cramped. This car is not cramped, in my opinion. It is slightly more spacious than the Range Rover Evoque. Yeah, but and then I think it's sort of on par with a GLA, but it feels more airy than the GLA at the back there. But the boot is slightly smaller than the GLA though. So what else? What else? Performance is a lot higher now than back then. This is, if I'm not wrong, this horsepower matches to the old JCW. Yeah, the old JCW, and it goes. The moment you drop the pedal, it just goes, and it's able to carry its own weight, handle its own heft during corners and all that. But one thing is for sure, if you are someone who drives the old Mini and you love the way it handles, the really sharp and bumpy ride handling, right? You have to know that this round they gone soft. They gone soft, not a little bit, but anywhere from 20 to 30%. Yeah, the car has been softened up. It's easier to drive. You don't bounce yourself all the time. It's very comfortable, and soundproofing has improved a lot. So the car is, yeah, it is a very nice to drive car. You feel very special driving this car. You feel different. You look different, different image. And the most important thing, when you drive a Mini Cooper, right, people let you merge into traffic. This is first-hand experience, right? The people just stop and let us merge. It's for some reason you're perceived as the good guy, the nice guy driving a Mini. Yeah, that's how it feels. And I always think ladies look sexier driving a Mini. I'm not sure why, but ladies just look better driving a Mini. They just look that much more sophisticated and cute. And when you drive a Mini, you age slower. This is your best anti-aging agent, your antioxidant or whatever. Alright, Yep, that's it. That's the review of the Mini Countryman. Cheers!